Hey, this is Ellie from Magic Beans, and today we're going to do something a lot different from what we normally do. We're not going to talk about strollers or car seats, or toys or baby gear, anything like that. I have the honor and pleasure of having Bria Gadsden with me, and we are going to talk about her amazing organization called Love Your Menses. And it is such a pleasure to have you, Bria. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
So tell me a little bit about you. Can you introduce yourself to the Magic Beans audience?
Sure. Thank you so much, Ellie, for inviting me to speak with you today. I'm so excited. My name is Bria Gadsden. I am from Boston, born and raised. My background is in public health. I have my bachelor's in nutrition from the University of Massachusetts and my master's in community health from Marymount College. And after studying nutrition and public health, I decided I wanted to do work around adolescent health and well-being. And I particularly wanted to focus on girls or those who identify as female. And so I ended up co-founding the organization Love Your Menses.
That's awesome. So what is the mission of Love Your Menses, and tell me what it does?
Yes, so our mission is to provide a safe, brave, and uplifting space for Black and Brown girls starting as young as 8 years old to learn about the menstrual cycle, get access to resources, and receive mentorship from other women of color who are medical and public health professionals. And the reason why I co-founded this organization is because growing up, no one talked to me about my period. It was so taboo in my community. It was very hush hush, and it's just something you kept to yourself. And I had to learn about my menstrual cycle as I got older, whether it's through surfing the web or talking to my friends or talking to my doctor. And I did not want that cycle to repeat itself for our younger generation. And so I decided to host a Love Your Menses event last year in Boston. Over 100 girls and women came out. Our workshops were led by women of color doctors in the Boston area, and the topic was periods. And from that event, just receiving such a positive response, we decided to host a similar event in Washington, D.C. And after that, my co-founder and I decided to turn it into a nonprofit organization.
Wow. So it's really grown a lot, and
Yes.
it sounds like it's impacted tons of lots and lots of women. And so tell me a little bit more about this, like this event, this first event that you did. What was that like? Tell me about like the transformation that you saw from doing that event.
It was amazing. And we did not expect to have a huge turnout like we did. We just advertised it on social media and through email listservs. And so the purpose of the event was to really educate young girls about menstruation and also to provide a safe space for community members to talk about their periods, just to have an open conversation and discuss what their menstrual experience has been like. And so we had a keynote speaker, Dr. Ebony Wilcox from Boston Medical Center. She spoke to the girls and gave a whole scientific overview of what the menstrual cycle is, because one thing we realized is that girls know it's something that's coming, or something that is going to happen to them. However, many do not know why it happens. So what is physiologically happening in the body which causes you to have a period? And so we wanted to make sure girls had the basic scientific knowledge, because we want them to be informed about what's happening in their body and not treat it as something that's just a chore, or obligation to wear a pad or a tampon or a menstrual cup because you have to, but really to feel empowered and say, I'm wearing this because, every month I get my period, or however often someone does. Also, during the event, we had a roundtable discussion with what we like to call period champions. So these are people in the community across the lifespan. So we had someone in their teenage years as well as someone in their 80s, just to talk about periods, right? Because we want the young to learn from the wise and vice versa. And we also had breakout sessions, and they were broken into different age groups. So our 8 to 10-year-olds attended a menstruation 101 session, which they just learned the basics of the menstrual cycle. We had a What's Up Doc session for teenagers just to talk with the doctor and ask any questions that they may have. Because one thing we also realize is that when you go to the doctor's office, you probably only get about 15 minutes with your physician. And that's just not enough time to get all of your questions answered. And also, many people do not feel comfortable asking questions if the doctor just seems like they're in a rush to get to their next patient. And so we wanted to provide ample time for teenagers just to have a conversation with a doctor, someone who looks like them and comes from their community. And then our last breakout group was What's Up Doc 2.0, and that's for parents, because we also wanted parents to talk about their own reproductive health issues, because how can a parent educate their child and empower their child if they themselves do not lack the knowledge or feel comfortable talking about their bodies?
Hmm. What kind of feedback have you gotten from the participants or the people who've been involved in the organization?
Such positive feedback. Actually, one participant who attended our event last year, a few months later, her mom reached out to us and said, my daughter just got her period for the first time, and she was so prepared because of what she learned at this event. And that's the kind of impact we want to have. We want girls who have not gotten their first period yet to attend one of our workshops, receive mentorship, and when they do get their period, not feel like it's the end of the world and they're going to die because they're bleeding, but know, oh, I learned about this. I already have my period kit ready to go, and I'm ready to embrace my flow. Also, one adolescent reached out to us and said after the event, she went back and spoke to her classmates about what she learned. She wore her Love Your Menses t-shirt to school and told her friends to attend our future events, which they have been doing.
That is so, so awesome. And since you are so amazing and you just expand and you grow, you've also expanded into some prenatal work as well.
Yes, I have. So we started creating and distributing postpartum care bundles in partnership with Bodily. So they're an amazing organization based in New York who create high quality postpartum care products. And I remember just reaching out. I didn't even think I would hear back from them saying, well, we're putting together these postpartum care bundles for new moms, especially during the pandemic. We recognize the challenge it could be to be pregnant in quarantine and having to wear a mask all the time. And so they responded and said, we would love to support your initiative. And so the founder, Tova, I met with her and we decided to create these postpartum care bundles, which include all essential items a new mom would need during the postpartum period. Because what we wanted to do is, while supporting the baby is great and having baby showers is nice, but what about the mom? No one ever buys stuff for the mom, and she needs products for her own recovery during the postpartum period. And so since early September, we've provided 50 moms in the Boston area with postpartum care bundles. Most of those moms who are also experiencing substance abuse issues. So it was great to really support them during this time.
That is so, so awesome. And then on top of that, you started another organization.
I did.
Isn't she amazing? I told you Bria was amazing. I'm so glad you're getting to meet her. We're gonna get you all the information of how to learn more about all these organizations at the end. So watch to the end. So Bria, tell us more about the other things that you're doing.
Yes, I don't know how I have enough hours in the day to do everything I do. So the other organization I co-founded is called Merrimack Valley Black and Brown Voices. And so I live in North Andover. It's a predominantly white suburban town. And I posted in one of the moms groups just expressing how, oftentimes I didn't feel like I belonged in the community because I never saw someone who looked like me. No one ever approached me to say hello. Everyone would just stare at me, with disgust or fear. And from that Facebook post, two young Black women reached out to me and also shared their experiences living in Andover, in North Andover. And from that, we decided to form MVBBV for short. It started out as a Facebook group just for Black and Brown people living in the Merrimack Valley area to connect, to share resources, to attend events together, and just to build community. And from that, we turned it into a nonprofit organization. And since then, we've been hosting outdoor Black and Brown owned markets to provide small business owners with an opportunity to promote their business and sell their work. Our first event was held in Andover, and over 400 people attended and shopped. One business owner reached out to us after and said they sold out of products, which is amazing. That's the kind of impact we want to have. Our last market was held in North Andover. Over 400 people attended again. And we also support the community. The beginning of the school year, we launched a back to school tech fund in which we provided Black and Brown students with Chromebooks and school supplies.
That is so incredible. I'm just so grateful that I was connected to you, and that my Magic Beans community, both here in Boston and nationally, get to learn about you and learn about your organizations. Please, Bria, tell everyone how to learn about your various organizations, some websites, URLs, names, etc. And we'll also put the links in the descriptions below so you can click and get to learn more right away.
Yes. So for Love Your Menses, you can visit our website, www.loveyourmenses.com. You can also follow us on social media at Love Your Menses. And for Merrimack Valley Black and Brown Voices, our URL is www.mvbbvoices.org. And our social media handle is at mvbbv or mvbbvoices.
Well, I'll put, like I said, I'll put all the links below.
Yes.
So people can learn more. And thank you so much for talking to me tonight. It's such a pleasure to meet you and to learn all about the amazing work that you're doing. Thank you for everything that you do. And it was just such a pleasure to meet you. Like I said, click the link below, learn more about Bria and her amazing organizations. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I appreciate the opportunity to speak with your community.
Thank you.